Yeah, and I hope that some of the smaller races can continue to grow. It seems like there's a real big barrier to entry that you have to invest so much into your infrastructure, and so many people are way behind this learning curve compared to the big, three races that they've already got it down. They've been doing it for like 3 or 4 years, and then you get other people who want to just, hey, I love doing Tough Mudder, I love Spartan, Warrior Dash, why don't we put one on in our local community? And then they find out, oh, you got to have all these permits and, economic plan and infrastructure and porta potties and things, and then they end up putting on something crappy that, everybody kind of hates. So
yeah, I'm a huge fan of first-time events. Huge fan.
Yeah.
I mean, the worst event I've ever been to was actually one of the funnest social events I went to, because we were making fun of the event while we were there. I'm not going to name it, obviously. So, but it was still one of the best times. That's kind of one of the first times we really came together as a group. And then after that, we started going together. And then even though we know the risk, a lot of us still go to first time races. Even though we have people in our group that only go to the big three, or they only go to like Savage Race. They won't go to any other race because they're like, oh, I don't want to get ripped off. When really one of the best races that I've ever done, well, the hardest for me to ever do, it's the only race I ever thought about quitting at an obstacle was Rock On Adventures on Highlander 3. They had a mud pit where you carry a sandbag, and it was like waist deep mud, and that was a hard obstacle for me. I mean, it was to the point to where I felt like I kind of blacked out like towards the end of it. Like someone took some pictures of me and stuff, and then later told me that I kind of ignored them, and they showed me the pictures, and I was like, I don't even remember any of that. I don't remember like none of that section there. I was so beat. But I really hope that the more people give some of the smaller ones a chance, because that's how they're going to grow. As they get a chance, and then they bring good prices to the table most of the time. Some of them don't bring as much to the table, but they could once they grow. I mean, all of them started out small. So.
Yeah, I think if they concentrate on getting the obvious things done, like parking and infrastructure with porta potties and showers and things, just to make people not have to worry about those things, because I know Tough Mudder even has had a couple of debacles with their parking, and how do you avoid that? And then getting, good obstacles, because if you're going to call it a mud run or an obstacle race, you want to have those things in it. And so I think people sometimes feel cheated if, if they're just running over a couple of picnic benches and and a couple of tires,
Well, it's true. I mean, I've actually seen, we had an event down here not too long ago where they had ladders for monkey bars, but I mean, it is what it is. Obviously, nobody will probably go back to that one ever again if they ever came back. But it's kind of a learning experience for first time, and I hope that they all do good. I might do my best to help out with more of like grassroots help and stuff like that a lot, like smaller like events who are trying to get in the door. Because if they do expand, I'd like to be involved. I want them to look at us as a community, that can help them. So, I figure we all stick together, it'll just keep growing and growing and growing, and eventually it'll just be everything. Everything will be just one giant community of people. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe, we're stronger together at this point. I think there's been a lot of competition and behind the scenes kind of backstabbing and stuff with some of the bigger companies that hate each other or something, but they all provide, something different to each of their athletes. And from the sounds of it, most athletes are ready to go to any one of those types of races, whether it's a challenge or an actual race. I'm excited to see the Warrior Dash with their Iron Warrior and stuff like that. So every bit helps. I think it's the more fun, the merrier.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you on that one. So, I mean, everything new that comes out, I want to try. But, I mean, sometimes they're really expensive to do. Tough Mudder is a primary example. I mean, for me to go to Tough Mudder, I live a little over like 3 hours hotel room, food, and all that stuff, babysitters. It's a $500 weekend. I mean, I'd go to Disney World for less than that, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, it's kind of like, well, do you really want to do it? Okay, let's do it, you know? And you just hope for the best. And in my particular scenario, I kind of went to a Tough Mudder that wasn't as good as the rest, I guess, you know? So kind of, you know, that real bad traffic issues there, and then as well as they didn't have a lot of their, like, signature obstacles there. So it was like I expected I was going to need help over every obstacle. That's what I was imagining, you know, and really I didn't need help over anything. So,
yeah.
You know, I was a little bit disappointed in that. But still, again, huge social event. I mean, great time. So many people. I got to meet new people, you know, and it just helped us grow again. I mean, even more.
Yeah.
So it's just, I think if we bear with it, even to the ones that, for me, are a little bit much. I think they're too much money for what they offer. So, but a lot of people think that that's the only one they'll go to.
Yeah.
I got people in my group, that's the only one they'll do. You know, they won't do any other race because they don't think that they pan up to what they charge, except for the, you know, particular races. So.
Well, I'm hoping in the future that, you know, when money starts coming in from bigger sponsors and television and things like this, that they'll actually pass some of that money down to the savings of the entry fees, so that they can say, hey, you know, we're providing a service for these athletes to be here, and now we're putting this many eyeballs in front of the sponsors. Does that make sense? Kind of like Facebook is free because there's so many people that do it. And then you advertise them. So the sponsors, if they were looking at it the same way, could say, well, we can afford to subsidize, like, 10,000 athletes coming to this race, and maybe they only pay $30 because we know that they're going to come and kind of invest in our products. So I think that would be awesome, but you know, it's just that the prices are just going to go up. So I hope, hopefully somebody will.
$30 a race, like a flat price, $30 for every race. Man, I'd probably do 60 races a year.
Well, yeah, and then you know, the more you're in front of those kind of, you know, sponsors, whether it's a sneaker or a power bar or whatever it is, you're going to be more likely to use that in your everyday fitness than you would if you maybe showed up to one Tough Mudder and saw that it was sponsored by Under Armour. Well, it's like, oh, maybe I'll get an Under Armour shirt. Maybe not.
Yeah, I wonder who the first real big sponsors to start just sponsoring individuals will be. I mean, I expected to see Hobie Call with a huge sponsor, like, out of nowhere, and then I heard his conversation, and I was thinking, oh, so, I mean, he kind of seemed more against it if he didn't care for the product, you know? And,
yeah. Well, it's good that he's
it's good morals, so.
Yeah, good sticking to his morals, and I think somebody will come along that matches what he's looking for and be willing to pay him the kind of money he's looking for too. So.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I'd like to see who the big sponsor is going to be to start picking up people, you know, because then again, that's when it's going to get better for people, because the people are going to be striving to get sponsorships too.
Right.
So, you know, big name sponsorships. There's not too many really fast runners in this community.
Yeah.
You know, heck, man, we probably know all of them. So, you know, I met a couple of them down at Superhero Scramble, which was cool, man. I mean, really, really fast people. Bringing a whole new level of speed down here to us from what we're used to seeing.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's what money's going to do. It's going to keep dragging extremely fast people out of the woodwork and bringing them into the sport. So.
Well, it's all really exciting.